Latino. Good afternoon. Saludos a todos. Bienvenidos a mi séptima celebración del mes de la herencia hispana. Welcome to my 7th annual celebration in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. Everything you've seen, from the Mistress of Ceremonies to the ROTC to the national anthem to the folkloric groups that have danced here, they are all Latino, and we are proud of each and every one of them. I want to thank Arlene Quiñones Perez for hosting us this year, being our MC. I want to thank for her work for our community, from her time as a clerk for federal judgeship in the U.S. District Court to your tenure as a respected labor lawyer, to being elected to the Clinton City Council. That's a lot harder than being elected in some respects to the local city council here in Hudson County. And now as president-elect of the Hispanic Bar Association of New Jersey, you are a role model for Jersey strong and Latina powerful. So thank you very much. La Presidente de la Asociación de Abogados Latinos. Let me thank the Mayor Stack and the Union City Commissioners and the Superintendent of Schools and the Union City Board of Education for hosting us, and Vice Principal Edwin Martinez for his gracious introduction. This is one of the finest high schools, and it is urban, and it is here in Union City, and it is overwhelmingly Latino and successful. I always appreciate the young men and women of the ROTC, the junior ROTC, always putting forth the national flag and the state flags and their participation, and to all of our dance groups, todos los grupos folclóricos que bailaron aquí. A unique dance troupe representing the indigenous people of Ecuador, Mushuk-Yuyak, which means new memories in Quechua, so we thank them. The national tango champions, Yamila Viana and Ivan Troshi, and el grupo salvadoreño, Ritmo Sabor Salvadoreño, que tenía mucha salsa, por cierto, ¿eh? Así que thank you all very much. Vamos a oírlo para todos ellos, ¿eh? I appreciate our pastor, who has done this now with me several years, Reverend Joshua Rodriguez of City Line Church, one of the fastest growing bilingual congregations in the Northeast, for guiding us in the invocation. Thank you, Pastor Rodriguez, and thank you always for your spiritual and civic leadership. To Angel Rodriguez, a student who led the Pledge of Allegiance, and to Gabriela Romero, who did a fantastic interpretation of the national anthem so beautifully. To all of our elected representatives, my colleague in Congress, Congressman Cires, to all of the mayors and city council commissioners, freeholders, and others, le agradezco a todos los que están electos estar con nosotros en esta celebración y le felicito en el trabajo que hacen de parte de nuestra comunidad. Y también tenemos una persona muy especial aquí esta noche, también de parte no solamente de los electos local, pero la cónsul y el ministro de El Salvador. Le agradecemos que están aquí también con nosotros, ¿eh? Ahora, el chef Andrés, como oyeron, desafortunadamente su avión fue cancelado aquí, pero hemos aventurado la tecnología de hoy en día para traerlo en un momento con nosotros desde Washington, donde él está, porque dije, si tengo que cocinar yo esta noche, la cosa va a estar muy mala para todos ustedes, así que... So we will have Chef Andrés via FaceTime very shortly. And we are thrilled that he was able to do that for us. We're sorry he couldn't be with us in person, but we are glad that he was willing to come to us and deliver his message, and I'll talk about him in just a few minutes. As we commemorate our shared history, our heritage, our culture, and recognize the unique impact that Latinos have had in New Jersey and nationally, We are also away from a relatively short period of time to a momentous decision in our country and in our future. This year, and I have never spoken about elections in the 7 years. En los 7 años que he tenido este mes de la herencia hispana, nunca he hablado de política o elecciones. Pero este año, no se puede permitir por respeto propio no hablar de él. Not only for while we have never talked about elections at this celebration, this time is quite different. Not only for the Hispanic community, but for women, for African Americans, for Gold Star mothers, for Muslims, for disabled Americans, and all of us who care about dignity in our political debate. In this election, we have heard, build a wall. Vamos a crear un gran muro. We've heard, deport them all. Vamos a deportarlos todos. We've heard anchor babies. I don't even know what an anchor baby is. A baby is a baby given to us from God. It isn't an anchor to anything in this world and in this life. We've heard Mexican immigrants called criminals, drug dealers, and rapists. These words hurt me deeply. Estas palabras nos ofenden a todos. They hurt us all deeply. And I cannot and I will not forget them, and none of us should. I am sure most of you, have heard these attacks to different parts of my life. But to hear them from someone who could be so close to the presidency of the United States is despicable. Those people, the other people, the different ones, the different people, esa gente, la otra gente, esos que son diferentes. Yo he escuchado esas palabras durante mi vida en mi carrera política y sé lo que quiere decir, cuál es el sentimiento atrás de eso. Decir, esa gente, esa gente, esa gente. This election year demands more than that we celebrate our heritage, and certainly we are celebrating that heritage. It demands that we stand up to racism and fight for our future and the future of this great country. It demands that we reject the notion of second-class citizen. No aceptamos ser ciudadanos de segunda clase, somos ciudadanos de primera clase, lo hemos ganado esa realidad y si hay que respetarnos de esa forma. It demands that a historic number of Hispanics get out to vote on behalf of our families and our future and the nation, get out to vote for our brothers and sisters who are in the darkness and cannot come out into the light, against deporting 11 million people, against separating families, against revoking birthright citizenship, against revoking protections for 750,000 young men and women called dreamers whose only country they have ever pledged the flag to is that of the United States, and the only national anthem they know is of the Star-Spangled Banner. This is an election that will show the world who we are, and what we have contributed to the story of America. Esta es una elección en donde podemos demostrarle a todo el mundo quiénes somos y cuánto hemos contribuido a esta gran nación. We are sports heroes and legends like Roberto Clemente. We are Nobel laureates. We are Fortune 500 CEOs. We are senators and congressmen. We are award-winning actors and singers. Gloria Estefan and so many others. Tito Puente, y la lista va a Shakira, que es mi personal, que me gusta sobre todo su música. And we are the chefs, as you will see, and grand chefs and restaurateurs. But we are also servers and dishwashers, the nannies who take care of our children, the farm workers who grow our food. Mi familia latina de New Jersey, en este estado Jardín solamente, somos más de 850,000 caribeños 460,000 centroamericanos y mexicanos, 370,000 suramericanos y, por supuesto, más de 23,000 españoles. Somos uno de cada 5 personas en este gran estado. Mejor dicho, este es nuestro estado y estamos orgullosos de las contribuciones que hemos hecho. What's at stake in this election is what we want this nation to be for our children and our grandchildren. What we want them to see when they look at the next president of the United States. We want them to be proud of their heritage and proud of an inclusive president and leader who has the decency to welcome Jorge Ramos to a press conference, not forcibly remove him and publicly tell him, go back to Univision. We want them to admire a compassionate president who will help our brothers and sisters come out of the shadows. A leader who will solve problems by finding common ground. A leader who will hold the center and finally fix our broken immigration system, not a huckster whose only answer is to try to divide us by making Americans fear the challenges we face and blame someone else for them. Lo que necesitamos es un líder que entiende que nuestra comunidad es parte de la solución, no del problema. Look around in this room. It is important that we have a compassionate president who respects our beautiful immigrant culture, not a divisive president who wants to kill the deep roots immigrant families for centuries have established in this nation and weed out those he sees as a threat to an image of a bygone era. We don't want a narcissistic, boastful president who claims that he alone can make America great again, but clearly doesn't know or care about our immigrant past or understand the hard work, the sweat and tears of immigrants like my mother, who worked her fingers to the bone in the textile factories of northern New Jersey and worked equally hard to raise her family. We need a president who honors the sacrifices of those like my mother and the sacrifices of all workers and soldiers who slaved and died to make America great in the first place. And we don't want a president who tells Americans that those people are to blame, and that the best solution is to proclaim his xenophobic, isolationist, hateful vision of America and build a great wall. No queremos un presidente cuya única visión del mundo está en el espejo. No aceptamos a un egoísta que piensa que los latinos no merecemos ser parte de este país. Alguien que busca borrar nuestra historia, cultura y inmensas contribuciones a esta gran nación. Nuestra comunidad debe dejar muy claro que nosotros somos parte integral de este país y eso comienza con nuestro voto. This year the stakes are high. Our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration is more important than it has ever been. And the best way to celebrate it is to commit ourselves to voting, the fundamental right that makes us the essence of a democracy, where many of our parents left countries where that wasn't possible, to commit ourselves to getting everyone we know to vote. It's not an option. It is our solemn responsibility as Hispanic Americans to all those Hispanic Americans who came before us, all those who actually knew the meaning and the reality of sacrifice, those whose broken backs and calloused hands picked the fruit that Donald Trump had for breakfast, all those who worked hard and paid their taxes, contributed their fair share, and didn't have the audacity to think that it is smart to cheat their way to success and then call that a sacrifice. They made real sacrifices. They made real sacrifices. And they saw it as their responsibility to give something back because they believed America was already great and wanted to make it even greater. Es nuestra responsabilidad como latinos votar en honor a todos esos hispanos americanos que vinieron antes que nosotros. Todos los que saben el significado y la realidad de lo que es sacrificarlo todo. aquellos cuya espalda y manos han recogido las frutas que Donald Trump consume el diario. Todos los que trabajaron duro, pagaron sus impuestos, contribuyeron con su parte justa y no tuvieron el descaro de pensar que el lograr éxito por medio de engaños es algo honorable. Aquellos que hicieron sacrificios reales y hicieron su parte como americanos responsables porque creían que los Estados Unidos era una gran nación, pero todavía pudiera ser una nación todavía más grande. Este año votamos por todos ellos. This year, our vote is for them. This year, our vote is for them. For the thousands of Latino students, American-born, who are facing tremendous college debt to compete for good-paying jobs so they can contribute to the economy. For the 160,000 Latinos, more than 11% of all the active duty military forces of the United States, más de 160,000 latinos en las Fuerzas Armadas de los Estados Unidos. ¿Cómo es que no respetan cuando nosotros estamos sacrificando nuestra vida de parte de esta gran nación? Y honramos a todos esos veteranos que actualmente han sido parte de esa gran historia. This Hispanic Heritage Month is a call to action. Este año, la celebración de la herencia hispana es un llamado a las elecciones, un llamado al respeto y la dignidad. Mi padre en paz descanse me dijo, si tú no te respetas tú mismo, nadie te va a respetar. Y nosotros tenemos que no solamente respetarnos nosotros mismos, vamos a usar el látigo del pueblo que es su voto para que otros nos respeten también y entienden que estamos aquí y vamos a estar por mucho tiempo. So, in every part of American life, from before the founding of the nation, when Bernardo del Galvez was leading an all-Spanish contingent against the British to help George Washington in the Revolutionary War, to the all-Puerto Rican division, Los Borinquineros, the most decorated in military history in the Korean War, to the names that you will find on the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, overwhelmingly Latino for a percentage of the population, to the first young man who died in Afghanistan, Lance Corporal Jose Gutierrez, a Guatemalan who was not even a United States citizen yet when he died on behalf of the United States of America. We have been defending and promoting this country. Nosotros no somos ciudadanos de segunda clase, somos ciudadanos de primera clase. Lo hemos ganado y no aceptamos que los traten de echarnos atrás o en la oscuridad. Si no los respetamos nosotros mismos, nadie nos va a respetar. Así que hay que sacar el látigo del pueblo que es su voto y usar ese látigo para asegurar que se respeten hoy, que nos respeten mañana y que nos respeten en el futuro, porque somos el futuro de esta gran nación. So let me now introduce to you someone who is the embodiment of that success. Our keynote speaker, who's master of the culinary arts, have made him one of the most, if not the most respected chef in America. When he talks about food, he sees himself as more than a restaurateur. In describing his restaurants, he once said, "They're very different because I believe I am more than a chef. I am a storyteller of the food and the history of the people that I represent." He said, "For me, I don't know when people are going to come back to my restaurant, so the small plates, las tapas as we call them, for me it's a great way for anybody to be able to experience my stories, the different chapters of my restaurants in one single meal." Chef Jose Andres has built a culinary empire on his extraordinary talent, on his humanity, on his decency, his love of the art, and his respect for workers that have made his restaurants famous. And in the process, he managed to upset the Republican nominee for president so much that he took Chef Andres to court for doing something Donald Trump does not often do, stand on principle. For those of you who may not know it, el chef Andrés no solamente un hombre de enorme talento, un hombre de negocio, pero también un hombre que él le educa a la comunidad americana por medio de nuestras comidas, de las realidades, de las bellezas de nuestros países, pero es un hombre de principio. Recientemente, él rechazó abrir un restaurante en el nuevo hotel de Trump en Washington, D.C., diciendo, es inaceptable que yo voy a abrir un restaurante en el hotel de un hombre que abra inmigrantes como criminales y otras formas tan negativas. Chef André recently refused to open a restaurant in the Trump Hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue, citing Donald Trump's statements calling undocumented immigrants rapists, criminals, to which the chef essentially torpedoed the restaurant he had planned to open. And his lawyers argued the case in the D.C. Superior Court. He stood on principle. He had respect for himself and for our community. And we are honored to have him with us via technology today. He is not only a renowned and talented chef, but a businessman who cares about more than profits and acclaim. He embodies the best of who we are, a shining example of leadership who has lived the American dream since coming from Spain and represents the values we share as a community, and he has put those values into practice in his restaurants. We hope he will share with us his story that he wants to tell through his art and his restaurants, but also what he believes is at stake for this country. Damas y caballeros, un placer y un honor felicitar y traerle por medio de la tecnología al gran maestro, el chef José Andrés.